Good afternoon. My name is Alan Sutton, and you are listening to the Master Dad Podcast. This podcast was created to let each and every one of you know that you are not as bad as you think you are. Society wants you to believe that every one of you are racist, bigoted, and just plain evil. I want you to know that you, in fact, are not. With that being said, let's get to it. Merriam-Webster defines self-denigrating as to speak damagingly of, criticize in a derogatory manner, to sully, to defame, to denigrate your own character, to treat or represent as lacking in value or importance, to belittle, to disparage, to denigrate your own contributions to a project. In layman's terms, this means to speak poorly about yourself, to speak of yourself in a derogatory manner, and to belittle your own importance. I watch a lot of videos on a bunch of different subjects, and one of the things that makes me hang my head in shame is whenever I see anyone speak about themselves in a bad manner. It really offends me when I see someone talk about their own race in a bad manner. It's one thing to see a comedian talking about their own race or even other races in a comedic fashion. I don't always agree with it, but it is a comedy shtick. It is completely another to watch a white man literally screaming at another white man about how evil his race is. Or watching a black woman screaming at another black woman about how she is abandoning her own race. I want to take a few minutes here and talk to everyone. Everybody, listen up. If you can't have a discord about a subject with another person without resorting to name-calling and denigrating into name-calling, then you shouldn't be involved in the conversation. If you have devolved into name-calling and screaming, then you have lost the argument. There are 3 rules in arguments or debates that groups typically will follow for that debate or argument to be successful. Number 1, challenge the facts the other person is using. Number 2, challenge the conclusions they draw from those facts. And number 3, accept the point, but argue the weighting of that point. There is one unspoken rule that I will talk about a little later. Let's talk about these 3 together, shall we? Number 1, facts. Facts are considered information that can be proven to be real. It is observable or can be demonstrated. For example, there are 12 computers in the lab. If you were to go to the computer lab, I'm sure that you would be able to count all of the computers in that lab and definitively come up with 12. Number 2, conclusion. These are decisions or judgments that are arrived at after consideration of factual data, evidence, or different hypotheses. For example, we have 20 students in the class, therefore there are not enough computers to go around. Number 3, arguing the point. These are opinions. This is where the argument or debate really takes off. For example, you say that there are not enough computers, but every computer desk can seat 2 people, so they can obviously share. Notice that nowhere in that debate or argument did you hear the phrases, "You idiot," or "You have no idea what you're talking about," or "You say that because you're racist," or my favorite, Okay, now that we've talked about what an argument or debate is, let me tell you a way in which you can almost win any debate. If you want to write down this secret, I suggest you grab a pen now and get ready to write down this secret. I'll wait. Are you ready? Good. Here it is. Most of the time, the person who defines the terms of the arguments will win that argument. If you can set the rules for the discussion, then the other person has to overthink each and every point that you are making. Let's take my previous example and let's define the terms. There are 12 computers in the lab, and last year there were 20. 8 of those computers have been removed due to a corruption in the software. Due to a shortage in school funds, we cannot replace those computers this year. Because I have set the terms, funds shortage and computers being removed due to virus corruption, the other person now has to scramble for reasons to refute my claims. So, if you want a better chance at winning an argument, these are just some of the points that you will find that will help you win. On to a related topic. A while back, I was watching a video where 2 guys were talking about the Gadsden flag. The Gadsden flag is also known as the "Don't Tread on Me" flag. This flag is one which features a rattlesnake coiled above that expression, "Don't tread on me," on a yellow background. The flag was first flown on a warship in 1775 as a battle cry for American independence from British rule. This was an argument between what I can only assume was an Antifa activist and a Second Amendment activist. The Antifa guy was ranting and raving about how the flag was a racist flag, and he was so off base it actually made me a little sad. Of course, it is not a racist flag. It is a flag that simply states that you have your rights and I have mine, but do not think that I won't defend my rights. Anyway, the Antifa guy basically blew up and started yelling that the Second Amendment guy doesn't have a clue about what he's talking about, and basically flipping out because of something or other. This is a tactic primarily used by the left because they either A, fail to research what they find, quote, offensive, or B, wish so bad to become a part of the herd that they forget about all sanity. Basically, it comes down to this. Once your opponent loses his or her cool and starts flipping out, know that you have won. The best thing to do in this situation is to calm the other individual down and let them know that you still love them and try to be their friend. I know, you're saying, "But Alan, how do I get the person to calm down and listen?" Well, here are some things to keep in mind. Number 1, if they are in a group, do not try to single them out. That is not going to work. Leftists thrive in groupthink. You're going to have to wait until they are alone and talk to them like a rational adult. Number 2, speak in a rational voice. When their voice increases to their typical shrieking level, let them get it out. These are creatures of emotion, and emotion is very difficult to overcome with facts. Number 3, acknowledge that you hear them, restate their emotion back to them, and then bring the facts to them. Not emotion, facts. Do not, under any circumstances, escalate to their level. With that being said, I would like to thank you for listening to the Master Dad podcast. If you are a fan of this podcast, please feel free to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe. If you would like to leave a comment, please feel free. And remember, don't take life too seriously. You'll never make it out alive.